So hello and welcome, Dr. speaking, and today I plan to do something. Again, I would like to repeat my fast analysis with the data that my doctoral students are collecting right now, and in order to show them how to do it in an automated way and also to show you how to do it in an automated way, I'll try to run the analysis as fast as I can within the next, I don't know, probably half an hour. So the main idea is we have our questionnaire, and this is about the ecosystems, and I go to Qualtrics. This is the questionnaire that we have, and I export it, and I save it as an SPSS file. And important is that you go to these additional fields and that you code here also the recode seen by the answer multiple choice question, export view in order for randomized surveys, because we introduced a manipulation and we also would like to see if there is something additional in this data. And we click on download. The data is being downloaded. We open the file and we open it using SPSS. So SPSS is running on the second screen. As soon as it starts, I will show you what we have. So here we go. This is our SPSS file, and I would like to shortly go through the structure of the questions. And first, although I asked them to make the questions, decision questions Q1, Q2, Q3, they ignored my command, and now we'll have to manually find all the decision variables here. It is also hard to understand which one was the attention check question. I assume it was the 197.96, but as they ignored my suggestion, we'll need to see what they did. We go to the survey, and in this survey that we collect data using Prolific, we introduce the control checks, attention checks. So we want to see that users really read through the questions. And you see question 196, instead of the text imported from our conjoined SDT file, they should have seen this one. So in the question 196, they should have selected ecosystem 2. Doesn't matter what the other items were. So let's note this one, 196, and it was with timing. Why they introduced timing here, I also don't know. I wouldn't use timing for the control questions, but anyway. And the next one is 208. So 196 and 208 are the questions where we use the attention check, and in 196 it was option 2, 208 it was ecosystem 1. So we go back to data, and first we go to this 196, and in 196 it should have been the ecosystem 2. So in 196 we sort them ascending. And all those who selected 1 are actually those people who didn't read the question. So although we asked them to answer 2, some of them answered 1, which shows that we can delete these questions just because we have to delete these completely cases, because these are probably the users who were not paying attention to our discrete choice experiment. It means they are pretty useless. That's why we just clear all cases. Okay, now we go to the question 208, and in the event of 208, they had to respond 1. That's why we sort descending. And you see again, we have 15 cases, people who did not pay attention to what wrote there, and that's why we can also clear them. At the end, we have now 161 cases that we can use. After we deleted this question, we can delete them here too, because we don't need them anymore. These were just a dummy question. It was 196. Checking one more time, because I slept not so well, so my level of attention is low. It was question 196 and 197 and 208. So 196, 97. You see this question, these are the answers, and these are the timestamps, how much time people spent on the page and how much time they needed before they made the first click and so on. So we don't need this data for 196 and 97. We can clear it. Actually, it is better if you call them 196 and 196T for the time, but this suggestion has been rigorously ignored by my doctoral students. That's why, okay, let's go to 208 and clear this one too. So we have now the decisions. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 decisions. So it is mostly correct. What else do we have here? These are probably the demographic question, if I see it correctly. How familiar are you with the following issues? Okay. And please indicate your current role. Okay, so these are the questions that you would need to retain. So now, after cleaning, so theoretically we can go through also through the time people spent on the page submit. This would be this variable, and see if somebody spent, let's say, less than 3 seconds or less than 4 seconds on the website. They probably wouldn't be able to read through all the options. Maybe they succeeded with attention checks, and theoretically we can also sort them out, but I will not do it. I assume that we did it already with the attention check questions. Then I go to my, so we have now the file that I'm going to save, just to be sure that everything works. I'll save it on my desktop. You don't see it, it's on a different screen, but I trust you believe me that I do it rigorously. So ecosystem without manipulation, and it was the cleaned file. Cleaned. So this is how I do it. Cleaned, and I save this file. Okay, let's create a new folder just to be sure that everything is working fine. Data study 1, because we also have the study 2 running. Cleaned. And we will need this file, so always save it, because we will need it for demographics. We want to see how many people, what ages, and so on. So you have to use this data before you restructure the file. And now the most time-consuming option comes, which is the restructuring of the file, and we'll try to do it as fast as we can. And for this, I developed a plugin. In one of my videos you can find it. And you see this plugin opens several data files and takes values from these files. I save them here, and we go to the inputs, and I already don't remember. It used to be a while ago. Let's see, attributes, names, and times. I'm not using this variable, so probably we can ignore it. Okay, so let's go to decision variables, CSV. And here I need to post the variables that were the decision variables. In our event, this were, so if they made it Q1, Q2, it would be easy, but they did it differently for some reason. Okay, so how can I... Q190, 192. Probably I cannot do it automatically, but let's do it manually. 90, 92, 94, 98. One more time. 90. 192. Then we deleted the 6, so the 4, then the 8. And that's 90. 94, 198, then we had the 200, 202, 200, 202, then we have the 204, 206, 204, 206. Then I think we deleted the 8, so next one would be 210, 212. 210 and 212. And we save this file as a CSV file. This is important because my plugin works with the text files, which are actual CSV, is the text file is comma separated value file. Okay, so let's go to the next one. What we have here, initial design. Let's see what I meant by this when I developed this plugin. Okay, these are the names of our attributes and levels, and we have it, of course, here. I'll just going to do it on my second screen because I think it could be private information there, and I don't want you to have an insight into all my files that I store on my drive. But I'll show you what we had, and actually we had a Google Sheet file where we had all attributes and levels. And theoretically, if we did it correctly, I can copy paste these attributes and levels. So I can only hope that they also, okay, that they did it correctly. And if they did it correctly, then we can just copy paste the things. If they made a typo somewhere, if they made it manually, then it might not work. Okay, where is the file and why is it all black? Okay, here we go. So we have the attributes, we don't call them, we have the question. Instead of attributes like collaboration, we ask about the question. Collaboration via this platform will help. And then we have the levels. Let's look in the file, what we have here. So we need to copy actually all this information here and paste it there. So we're copying the file information. This seems to be all, and we put this information somewhere here instead of what we have here. Just delete it and we paste what we copied from there. Okay, it looks a bit weird, so probably it has been posted as a text, and we want it to be posted as the values. That's why in this way. Okay, this seems to be better. So we have now the attribute names, we have now the levels for the attributes, and theoretically everything should work fine. So do we have anything here? Do we have anything here? I'm just checking. Okay, we have the level 6, but we don't have level 7, 8 and 9. Or we still have level 7, so 8 and 9, we don't need them. Okay, cross your fingers that it works, but you never know. As I did this plugin for fun, and I'm not a programmer, we have what we have. So other variables names, these are the names of all other variables that we would like to retain, and these are actually all the variables that are not our decision variables, and these are these variables here. So we can close the initial design, and here we just delete all these variables to be sure that we don't paste anything that is not existing in the file. Then we have the decision variables, then we have these variables that we need. And we put them here. These are the variables from discrete choice experiment. We don't do anything about it. We'll just continue. Okay, no other variables at the end. So there were no display order questions. Usually they are added at the end. If you have a manipulation, they will be added at the end. So seems to be all we need. Let's save it and let's see what else do I have to enter. Syntax data. Let's see what I meant by this. Number of attributes. Very good question. How many attributes did I have? We had 7 attributes. 7 attributes. Number of trials were 10, and we leave these things empty. I planned to do something with this one, but I didn't. That's why. Actually, there should be something additional that I might be missing, because I'm pretty sure that I had to enter the attributes names and types. Yeah, so this is the file that somehow has not been used, but we'll try to use it too. So what we have here are the attribute names. Let's go to our file and copy the attribute names. Was not a good idea. One more time. Yeah, we have the attribute names. Now we have the number of levels and type. Is it categorical or is it ordinal? So let's see what was categorical, what was ordinal. We had the ordinal are the 2 last ones are the ordinal. That's why we can put here 1 and 1. And here everywhere will be the zeros because they are categorical. Now the number of levels. And let's see what we have. We start level 1, so the last level will be 4 for the first 3 options. Like 4, 4, 4. Then we have the trust. It will be, how many levels do I have? 4, 5, 6. 6 levels for trust. Communication seems also to be 6 levels. Establishing the system, this one had 5, 6, 7 levels, and time saved at 5 levels. So you can only hope that it works, but we'll see it in a second. Now theoretically we can run the code because we entered all the data and see what is going to happen. If we are lucky, then the new file will appear here. It is output new syntax SPS, the syntax that we will be using for our data restructuring. That's why the old one will be the old one, and we run this code. Okay, something happens. New syntax appeared. We'll open it with Notepad++ to see what we have. So it looks not bad. It looks not bad. There is of course something that we are missing, and namely, you have noticed that we have more variables. We have the variables for the timing, and they are not here. But actually they can be treated as decision because it is the same as decision. When you made a decision 1 or 0, you also made a decision variable. And we'll try to make from this variable something close to decision variables, and let's see where we can paste it. So we need the line like this. What we will do, we will copy it all, create a new file, just so we have a copy, because the next one will substitute these variables, and we'll need actually the rest of the syntax. This one we'll just need the first line that we'll change and adapt later. So let's see what else we can do. We go now to our data file and see the variable names for this time variable. We'll have to repeat it 10 times. First one 191 first click, and then 193 first click, 195 first click. So we're going to work with this variable only. And maybe we can make it faster. Let me think about it. Would it go faster if I do it here manually? Yeah, why not? Why not? So we have the syntax, and actually we need to create additional variable. That's why we just copy this line, put it here, because when I wrote the initial version of the plugin, I didn't think that we will make it the check of the time. That's why we'll make the first click. And this will be made from the variables named 191 first click and then 193, but one by one. Just delete this too. First click, then we have the Q193 first click, and so on. So just copy this part, and we'll just be adding this one 93. Then we have 95. Q195, then we have the Q99, 199, then we have the Q201, Q201, then we have the Q203, Q203 first click, and then we have the 205, 207, Q205, Q207, 211, 213, Q211, Q213. Did I make any typo? Hopefully not. So what we do now, we can do theoretically the same for the next level, which is the last click. And as the variables are the same, we can simply substitute the first by the last click. Last one is too much. Last. Probably you can automate it, but I'm so good in making typos, as you see, that it's better if I do it as much manually as possible. Last click, last click, last click, last click, last click, and the last one is here, last click. So if I'm right, then we have the variables. Let's make it. So first of all, already I see what we did. I did, as you see, already something wrong. This was the decision. It was here. Decision. This was first click, and this one was last click. Okay, so now we lack two more variables, which is the page submit and click count. We are not really interested in click counts. People can click many times, but actually they need to make only one click when they make decision, but page submit is the most important one. So we create a new one. We'll just make it. And it will be page submit. And instead of last click, we have to add here page submit. Let's see whether we can substitute the whole line. Replace, and we want to replace last click with page submit. And we'll try to replace, so this 191 page submit should be the first one, is correct? Yeah, page submit, page submit. Okay, let's try to replace it. Replace, 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 replace. Okay, so the next one is actually our variable click count. Click count, and instead of last click, we will have to have here something different. We will have to have the click count, and we'll replace them one by one. So, and no other more. So click count up to 213. So what I did, I just added the variables decision, first click, last click, page submit, and click count that are made of the variables that were accompanying our decision. So instead of having one variable decision, which is 0, 1, we also added variables, the timestamp, which also showed how much time people spent to make this decision or how many times they clicked something on the screen. So what else? I remember that my recoding was not working perfectly, just because I think in the calculation of variables I had an issue, and it was because of the labels. It took the labels, they were too long, but they also more or less the same. It takes the label for all of them the same, but we'll try it. Let's try it out. So first let's save the file, just to be sure that it should work. Now we go to our file. We make new syntax, and we paste the data from there into syntax. Again, all these Python files, you can find them in one link. It is in the video where I explain how to do it in an automated way. So let's cross your fingers, because usually something goes wrong, but we'll see whether it will go wrong or not, or if yes, then what exactly will go wrong. We click on process. The new window has opened. Okay, here are the problems. Variable to cases, missing parameter like make subcommand. Recoding didn't work. Includes the name of a non-existing variable. This is interesting. Let's see what we have now. Let's go to the file, and actually, if I see it correctly, nothing worked, just because, okay, it started making something, but the problem was the restructuring these variables, because this didn't work. They should have disappeared, and we should have a different issue here. So, let's see. Error, command name, first. Let's see what was the issue in our file. Something with the make almost in the first line. Let's see where I made a typo there. The make. No, seems to be all correct. Maybe this line was too much. We'll check it. So we cannot continue with the file. That's why it's good that we saved it, because if I don't save it because it is already with a mistake, and we don't want to have it with a mistake, that's why we just make a new file. Data, we'll close the old one, not saving it, and we'll open the file that we saved last, which was cleaned data. Okay, now I'm trying to run again my syntax, and I hit a pause to see where I can find a mistake if it doesn't run, and then I'll tell you if it worked fine. Okay, I think I found a mistake. This was this empty line, but okay, let's try it before I hit pause. Okay, it seems that having one more break was not a good idea, but you see it's running, it's executing, something is calculating, which is pretty cool, but will depend on the result, what we will have. Okay. Labels command exceeded 120 bytes. It was a bit too long name somewhere, but the question is, of course, what do we have now? Let's go to our ecosystem file and let's see. Oh, now it looks perfect. Look at this one. We have the scalable attributes, we have the non-scalable attributes, they're all coded here. We have the names that will have to change. I'll show you later how and why. And I think we had a mistake in one of the attributes, but I don't know which one. Anyway, it seems that we have restructured the file, and the only thing that will not work is actually because of the label names. They have all the same labels, and if you run now the analysis, it will not work. So I have to change my Python code, or maybe if you're a programmer, you can do it. For now, we'll try to make it a bit simpler. We'll make it collaboration 1. Collaboration 1. This will be collaboration 2. And as soon as the names differ, you won't have problems. The problem was that they all have the same name. Collaboration 4. So, next one assumes parties to share. This is sharing. Sharing 1. Sharing 2. Sharing 3. Sharing 4. So this is risk management, risk taking. I don't remember, can we use the minus? I think we can do risk taking 1. Then this will be then risk taking 2. This will be risk taking 3, and this will be risk taking 4. Trust between the established parties, and this is the trust 1. And here we looked at different types of technologies that are used to establish trust in an ecosystem. Trust 3, trust 4, trust 5, and trust 6. And this one is the communication. Communication 1, communication 2, communication 3. Anyway, after this automated restructuring, I recommend you to check the data that everything is there. We'll do it right now. It can still happen that there was a mistake and we missed something. It can also happen that when we click now on the data, we will have the empty space. It happens if you, for example, have the variable that is not existing. SPSS will create the variable, but would fill it with the missing values. Establishing a system would take, this is time. Student's credential is, this is time for establishment, and this will be the time saved. Time saved. Okay, let's do the last check. Let's go to variables and see that they are not empty, and they are not empty, at least most of them. Let's go to the last ones, and they are not empty. So they are coded. This 1, 3, 7 means the level, so in this event it was, for instance, where's my file? The 3 was 16 months, or 20%, and level 7 was 24 months. So just so you know what we did. And now we are ready to run the analysis. I hope it was useful and interesting, and I'll see you in the next video as soon as I have my code here. Wish you all the best, and bye-bye.